Now, comic book movies are mostly big, bloated blockbusters with big budget bullshit behind it. And while there are some exceptions to that statement these days, back in the late 90s, you would never find a comic book movie with a budget in the hundreds of millions. These kinds of films were dark horses in Hollywood with unproven success to secure studio backing. So bloated bullshit blockbusters were not an option.
Yeah. I'm gonna be naughty.
Now, there's probably no need for me to explain the early days of Marvel movies and the constant state of financial decay that the company was in prior to the inception of the MCU. But suffice it to say that Marvel, the juggernaut movie studio that now owns their own corner of the industry, was once so broke that they sold off the rights to some of their characters and IP to stay afloat. This is how we got movies like Spider-Man from Sony, The Punisher from Artisan, and of course the X-Men saga from Fox. Included in that offload of IP was Blade, which was sold to New Line Cinema, a movie that many did not know was even tied to the otherwise colorful and bright Marvel brand, and that, in the 90s, was actually to this film's benefit.
The world you live in is just a sugar-coated topping. There is another world beneath it.
Blade is a half-human and half-vampire hybrid whose mother was attacked by a vampire during childbirth. This gives Blade the unique cocktail of DNA which gives him all the strengths of these blood-sucking cultists, but none of their weaknesses. It's called being a daywalker in this movie.
All our strengths, none of our weaknesses.
Blade's mission in life is to use his curse in order to hunt and destroy any creature that he can find. He achieves this with the help of his trusty mentor, Whistler, played by Chris Christopherson, who adopted Blade as a teenager and trained him in combat. Whistler is Blade's guy in the chair who provides technical savvy, companionship, and a special serum that Blade injects to keep him from craving blood. Remember, he is a vampire after all, folks.
You tell him it's open season on all suckheads.
Now, seeing as this movie is almost 30 years old, and this is a revisited video, it's safe to assume that you've already seen this movie, and personally, I'm not really interested in recapping the entire plot and calling it a day. Instead, let's just go over the good stuff. How does this movie hold up, and what makes it great after all these years? Oh, and also, we're definitely gonna spoil some Deadpool and Wolverine somewhere in this video, so I'll warn you when we get there. Let's go.
But it's daytime!
First off, let's talk about this movie's legendary opening scene. The movie opens on what appears to be an incredibly stylized late 90s rave, complete with shiny leather, edgy music, sexiness, debauchery, and, oh yeah, blood raining from the ceiling sprinklers. That's right, dudes, this opening scene is a mass killing in a vampire rave. This is so 90s, but it is the smoothest and most satisfying 90s. The blue tones of the lighting and the color grading really pop against the deep, thick red of the corn syrup being sprayed all over the dance floor. I am so here for this. The villain of the piece is a ruthless and reckless vampire with something to prove called Deacon Frost, played by Stephen Dorff. This guy is basically seeking to either capture Blade and use his hybrid blood to push the evolutionary scale of vampires to the next level, or collab with Blade so that he doesn't have to use force. Well, Blade prefers using force, so now we have our main conflict.
Looks like your mascara's running.
This movie's performances are not only good, but I think it gets undersold just how important these actors and their commitments to the roles were in the ultimate success of this movie. It's important to remember that while Marvel films are commonplace and household movies today, Blade was made at a time when superhero movies were deeply uncool, and thus unprofitable. Director Stephen Norrington was already facing slim odds of a commercial success when taking on this project, but thanks to the cast and crew taking the project so seriously, and the actors truly committing to the absurdity of it all and delivering serious and grounded performances, is what makes this movie special.
And if you want to survive it, you better learn to pull the trigger.
Wesley Snipes' Blade is really one of those all-time superhero castings that we put up there with Hugh Jackman as Wolverine or RDJ as Iron Man. Snipes gives Blade a hip and cool edge by cracking the occasional joke, reacting with his extremely expressive orange eyes, and even throwing some signature one-liners into the mix from time to time. You know which one I'm talking about.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
While there are one or two moments of comedic relief in the film, the movie ultimately plays it completely straight and takes what it's doing pretty seriously. Dorff as Deacon Frost is a great example of hamming it up while still selling the stakes of the scene. He chews pretty much the entire set, but it's not wasted on big monologues and cheesy exposition. Instead, he lets his demeanor and expressions show you how evil and unpredictable he is, while also delivering lines as if he'd been up all night practicing in the mirror and thinking of nothing other than his mission. And I mean all of this as a compliment.
Which means a lot to me, by the way, really.
Frost gets a bad rap due to the film's dated CGI, which was heavily relied on for the ending of the movie. Why does Frost take the hit for this? Well, he's the guy who turns into this pixelated, rubbery disaster in the final act. Admittedly, this does not look as polished as it would today, but putting that aside, look at the incredible fight choreography and immaculate cinematography of the action in this movie. You know what? Montage. While the action and carnage is fun, it's also only part of a very delicious pie. The dynamic that Blade has with the supporting cast is also fun on the rewatch. Blade and Whistler have a father-son type relationship that adds a sweet layer to his character and leaves you gutted by his reaction to Whistler's almost death scene.
By the time you watch this, your friend Whistler should be dead.
To add another layer to Blade's character is his dynamic with Karen, a human that wants to help and maybe bone Blade. If Whistler makes Blade sweet, then Karen makes him tough. Her involvement gives Blade a reason to stay sharp and be alert. Cause see, while our hero has no problem going out at night to kick some vampire ass, what he's really interested in is protecting people. And with Karen being around, he's constantly looking out for her safety. It's important to note that what makes Blade a great character goes beyond the obvious. I mean, sure, the duster jacket, the ninja weapons, especially those katanas, and the shades and tattoos sure make him look cool, but his stoic attitude with those small elements of humor and most importantly, humanity, that is what makes Blade a great character.
Motherfucker, are you out of your damn mind?
Behind the scenes, Norrington and Snipes would both eventually get sick of the franchise, with Norrington passing the reins for the next film to the modern master of the macabre, Guillermo del Toro, for a sequel that is just as much fun as this one. Snipes would appear as Blade in all 3 installments of the trilogy, but reportedly would get more and more difficult to work with as the films went on. See, Snipes was so ingrained in the character of Blade that he would remain in character at all times, making him seem unapproachable and unfriendly to basically everybody on set.
Motherfucker, I'll kill you. I'll just enjoy it better.
This would lead to the films having diminishing returns and eventually fading out and being pruned to the void. Until...
Oh, this is gonna be good.
For those of you that love Blade the way that I do, you must have been just as stoked as I was to see Wesley Snipes enter the frame as Blade in Marvel's latest multiverse outing, Deadpool and Wolverine. Seeing him whip out some blades and kick some ass was everything I needed to fill that blade-shaped hole in my heart. However, while I love that he was in the movie, and for a good chunk of it with plenty to do, I was disappointed by the rehashed use of a catchphrase and the not so subtle wink at the camera and Mahershala Ali's blade. It just didn't feel like the character in those moments. But regardless, this movie offers a bloody, violent, action-packed, and well-performed comic book story that is sure to scratch that vampire itch that you're feeling now.
And you understand the nature of the thing. You know what it's capable of.
On the rewatch, I gotta give Blade an 8.5 out of 10. This movie rules.
It was actually, when you get to know me, I'm a fairly sentimental type of guy.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Friday Night Flicks. Friday night at Joe Blow is a very serious thing for us, as you guys know. I look forward to this every single week, and this week is definitely going to be special because we have a special guest coming at us live from the set of Avengers 17. We have Taylor James Johnson, the star. This is America's new Captain America.
Oh, wow. No,
We're revealing it here, folks.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me, Kier. It is an honor. It is a blessing. What are we going to talk about today?
Well, if it wasn't obvious from the background of our footage here, we're going to be talking about Die Hard, but not just Die Hard, Taylor. We're going to be talking Die Hard as a franchise. Okay, that's 5 movies we're going to be discussing tonight.
Wow. Well, let me tell you, that franchise, it has a special place in my heart. I love the first Die Hard, of course. Everybody does. If you don't,
I do.
What's wrong with you? But as a franchise, I love and hate it.
Ooh.
If that makes sense. It should. So where do we begin here? We're just ordinary guys like John McClane.
It's just a couple of John McClanes. I hope we can expect twice the explosions because there's twice the John McClanes on this live stream. So here's how I say we start. In my opinion, the interesting conversation is going to come from, we ranked these movies independently, you and I. And
on a sticky note right here, just in case I forgot.
Very nice. Mine's a little bit less analog. I have mine here though. It's on a little digital sticky note on my computer. But we found obviously that our rankings of these two movies were a little bit different from each other.
And I'm glad because you know what? I asked a lot of people, how would you rank the Die Hards, or what is your favorite Die Hard? And usually it's a completely different mishmash.
Yes.
Everybody has a different order except for, the first one. And probably except for number 1 and number 5. Most people agree about the Die Hard sandwich.
Yeah.
Oh, the meat. The Die Hard meat.
That's all different. Yeah.
That's what makes it. Yeah. So yeah, let's take a bite. Oh, I see there's our list there.
How did that get there?
Let me double check
God,
that.
I feel so exposed.
Oh wow, yours is horrible. No, just kidding.
Let's start with this. Look, let's start from 5. No, let's start with what's obvious. Die Hard.
Of course.
What is it? 1988?
89 maybe? 88?
Something like that.
Late 80s. Let's just say that.
Late 80s.
I can't fact check us there. So
easily one of the most iconic probably the most iconic action movie of I'm a little bit too young to say of my generation, but definitely like my generation, every movie was inspired by Die Hard growing up.
We felt the wave,
Yes.
We felt the what Die Hard created. It changed the game.
Indeed.
And to the point where it became a subgenre, Die Hard on a bus, Die Hard at a hockey game, Die Hard in a
note I have here.
Okay, cool. And even so, yeah, it changed the game. It made everybody feel like, maybe ordinary people can be action heroes too. That was what stood out. because at the time, we had Rambo, we had
Arnold.
Chuck Norris, we had
Yeah.
Arnold,
Yeah.
and of course you know that Bruce Willis could probably kick a guy's ass. That's believable.
Sure.
But you still were like, yeah, this guy bleeds. This guy feels. This guy.
This
There's
guy has mortgage to worry about.
yeah, there's drama, and
Yeah.
that's why Die Hard works. It's actually it's a better drama than it is an action film. The action sequences are only good because we care about John.
I agree. I actually think that a big selling point of that movie is that the protagonist is really, I mean, like I don't want to take anything away from how much I love Die Hard, but to me, the action is a lot less impactful if you were to take away how much you just want John McClane to get through this, and that's to me also that's another thing that some of these ripoffs miss, because Die Hard on a boat or Die Hard on a spaceship, they can be fun, but if you don't really care about the person that's encountering this, whatever your antagonist is for this insert, it doesn't hit the same, and it's not ever going to be the same. And I think that
No way.
Willis truly is he's like my horror icon. When I think of, or I'm sorry, horror action icon.
We're done with Halloween.
I know.
We're moving on to Christmas movies, I guess.
Yeah, we're gonna have to cover Thanksgiving movies. There's three I can think of, or two I can think of: Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and Dutch. What am I
Okay.
missing? Is there any other
And
Thanksgiving
there's
movies?
the Eli Roth one that I didn't see.
Yes, of course, of course.
Uh,
I heard good things. I also didn't see it, but I heard good things.
But yeah, it's all about the drama when it comes to Die Hard 1.
Yes.
I and yeah, if you agree or disagree whether or not it's a Christmas movie, it became a Christmas movie. Like, enough people watch it on Christmas that it's a Christmas movie now. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if that was the intent. But yeah, I actually showed Die Hard to my kids one Christmas, and my daughter was not expecting much. She thought it was going to be a stupid action movie.
Sure.
And,
A dad
and, you
movie.
know, at the end, or like towards the end, she actually out loud, because she hates everything I show her, but out loud she was like, "This is actually good." Like, what? What? Die Hard's good? And I'm like, yes, it's a perfect movie. It's one of the few perfect movies.
Yes.
Like,
it is
what would you?
iconic.
There's nothing you take out of it. Maybe the annoying news anchors, but actually they still play. Like,
It's all good if you ask
everything
me.
works. Everything
Yeah.
works.
It's what
And-
I mean, like, and who would we be to criticize such a movie? I mean, that movie has stood the test of time. It is, I mean, it's got to be one of the most quotable, but also just iconic and recognizable films of all time. That's I mean, that movie.
Oh,
wins.
absolutely. And I was thinking earlier that Die Hard is kind of the Deadpool of its day. You got an action hero
Interesting.
who's reinventing the genre, making little jokes, and kind of changing the way, because you're never going to look at superhero movies the same way again. You're never going to look at action movies the same way again. And
True.
then, funny enough, John McClane kind of became a superhero as the franchise progresses, which made it worse, because he's not a superhero. And there's a wonderful part where he even says, like, they've got enough explosive to orbit Arnold Schwarzenegger or something.
Yeah.
And like almost kind of, not
Meta.
necessarily breaking the fourth wall, or a little bit meta. Everything's better when it's meta, and you could feel him wink when he says that. Like, they know they're in an action movie, and which is funny because John McTiernan, the director, went on to make Last Action Hero.
Yeah.
So basically spoofing himself.
The ultimate meta action movie. For sure.
Yeah. And that's actually, I'm gonna jump around here, but like, that's actually why I don't really like Die Hard 2, because it feels like a spoof of Die Hard. I just watched it, and I had it playing in the background while I was working on mute, which means I watched it and did research for this.
Sure.
But it feels, it's shot well. It looks beautiful.
It is nice, yeah.
Bruce is great. Everybody's great in it, but but there's just a few lines. Like he literally says, like, I can't believe the same
This is
thing.
happening again.
Oh my gosh. But now I'm gonna contradict myself, just like the Die Hard franchise. Um, I was actually thinking, like, if John McClane was a real person going through all of this, I was kind of putting my Last Action Hero helmet on. Like,
Sure.
what would it be like to a real human, to their psyche, to go through all of these adventures and to feel like, you know, your life is getting sequels? And then I thought, like, actually there are people who live those kinds of lives. So it's not too far fetched, whether they're in the military or you know, police officers. But even, like, there was a woman who was on the Titanic and the Lusitania and another sinking ship. So it was like her life. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, here we go
The
again.
3 movies you get out of that girl. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there was even somebody who was maybe in New York on 9/11, and then they were in London on another. It was just like, oh my gosh. So it's not completely unbelievable when you really think about it. But I'm
Sure.
not thinking while I'm watching Die Hard 2.
Sure.
So that's that's the problem, because you're like, this is ridiculous. Like they're laughing at themselves too much, even though the action is wonderfully choreographed, beautiful. The plane exploding, it's still just, it feels like a joke. I don't how do how do you feel about Die Hard 2?
Well, first of all, quite an explanation. You're not wrong though. I
No,
think
I'm not.
there's a lot of comments that agree with you. It does almost feel like somebody said it felt like a parody of itself. That kind of
Yeah.
sums up my feelings. Although, and if we look at here's a good kind of to sum up my thoughts, I guess in the most efficient way. My thoughts on Die Hard 2 is it's the second worst Die Hard movie. Now,
Yeah,
there's
that's
only one Die Hard movie that I don't like. There's only one Die Hard movie that I really don't like.
has no redeeming qualities.
Yes, and that would be my number 5. We'll get to it. But to me, Die Hard 2, it's because here's what it is. I can't get past when I watch Die Hard 2 going, how the fuck did this happen again? And how am I supposed to believe that everything happening is one just like what you were saying, how I guess it's not impossible. I get hung up on just kind of like, why is it winking at me like saying, can you buy this, can you believe this shit? And I'm like, well, you're
Maybe
trying to
the
sell it to me.
problem. I mean, maybe the problem is that it shouldn't have taken place during Christmas. You know,
Perhaps.
that's it's actually, yeah, too many coincidences. Or coincidence happens in life. Like there are crazy, spectacular things that, you know, life is stranger than fiction, right?
Sure.
But yeah, to have it on Christmas in a
Do you know
container, his wife is basically a hostage again.
again, she's Mary Jane. She's just there to be afraid.
And
You know?
and the villain, who's great, actually, he's pretty good, but it also feels like he needs to be in another movie, and that he's just trying to do a Hans Gruber, which he can't. He's too similar.
Yeah. Yeah. How funny is that? That's a funny way to put it. He's too similar to do a Hans Gruber. Nobody
But
could
also too
ever.
naked. I don't know.
Nobody could. That intro scene was wild for him.
Yeah,
You know?
like, oh, and yeah, I couldn't take him seriously anymore. Like, I've seen your butt.
Yeah, yeah. It's like the dad from Mallrats. It's like Michael Rooker and Mallrats. You know, it's like after that, you're not afraid of that guy.
Yeah.
I think yeah, it's funny. Die Hard. You know what it is? Die Hard 2 to me, it's like when it's. I mean, it's not exactly like this, but it's a good comparison. It's the Suicide Squad versus Suicide Squad. If Suicide Squad was the better first movie, because it feels like it's just let's reboot it with pretty much the same exact elements, but with a different polished, you know, whatever, and
Right,
kind of like
right.
just copy and paste some of the good bits and then change enough of it to feel like a few years later it might be a different movie, you know?
And it's just one of those, like, mini sequels, completely misunderstanding what made Die Hard work.
Yeah.
I don't know if I said this before. It is lightning in a bottle. And so when Die Hard 2 comes and tries to strike lightning in the same spot, exactly the same way, you're like, no, that's not gonna work. And it doesn't, and it feels ridiculous. If you wanted, it is fun. Like, I would rather watch Die Hard 2 like 10 times in a row than Good Day to Die Hard.
Sure.
Like, and maybe like if it wasn't a Die Hard sequel and it was just a Die Hard spinoff, if it was starring Jean-Claude Van Damme, we'd be like, this is one of the best Jean-Claude Van Damme movies out there.
For him, it would be for sure.
Chuck
Yeah,
Norris, you'd be like, this is the best Chuck Norris movie.
that is true. It's
so,
that it's a Die Hard movie that drags it down.
And I think that's the problem with every Die Hard movie, is like most of them are probably good movies on their own, but we're watching it through our Die Hard box, and I'm just like, this isn't Die Hard. This isn't Die Hard.
Yeah.
With the exception of moments in With a Vengeance. If you'd like to get to that now.
Sure, but actually, before we do, let's backtrack it a little bit to Die Hard, because I want to settle this debate, you and I, for the audience, because some people in the audience are saying it's a Christmas movie. Some people are saying it's definitely not a Christmas movie. Okay. I figure we could be the definitive voices on that.
Yeah. Well,
we're qualified.
So there is. This is the debate of our age, right?
Indeed.
So Bruce Willis himself said that it's not. I believe McTiernan said that it's not.
Right.
And it was released in July, right? Or in the summer.
It was a summer movie.
It was a summer release. So the studio basically didn't think that it was. So the people making it didn't think that it's a Christmas movie. But now, and so it didn't begin as one. But now Die Hard has become part of our zeitgeist, our pop culture. I don't know if I'm using these words right, but
yes,
Die Hard belongs to the people now. I'm sorry, Fox, even though Disney thinks they own it.
They don't own
Die Hard, we own Die Hard, so the people get to decide. And the people, just for the fact that more than enough people have watched it on Christmas, I, as the authority figure here,
oh wait, hold on.
Of Christmas, I declare, I do declare that Die Hard is a Christmas movie. God bless us, everyone. There you go.
That was great. You almost sounded like the teacher from Jimmy Neutron, if you know who I'm talking about. Probably not, but that was amazing. That was a good little sample of your talented vocal range.
Thank you.
You're talented. I can't do it, but if I wanted to, I would try to just up and down. You know,
it's all here.
Before you do a narration, this is one for the audience. Before you do a narration, do you do vocal warm-ups? Because sometimes you sound, I mean, all the time, but like your voice is so radio. It's crazy.
My background is in radio. I got thrown in front of a microphone one night. Because I was the only person at the radio station who had seen the Oscars or had seen any of the movies that were nominated. So they just threw a microphone in front of me.
Okay.
And so I have lots of experience, but you kind of just do this kind of stuff. I brush my teeth sometimes, and then I usually drink a coffee. I listen to usually a rapper, usually a dead one, just to
dead rapper. Let me write this down. Dead rapper.
Just to like psych me up, and so like Eminem in the beginning. So
okay, yeah, Eminem is dead.
So it's more mental than if you just think it through. The lips will follow, if that and the vocals will follow. I think.
Well, there's only one way to find out. I'm going to try it for 90 days. You guys check back in every week to see my progress. I'll do a sample clip until I have the perfect Taylor James Johnson impression. But right now, we're going to move on from that. We're going to talk about Die Hard with a Vengeance. Taylor, this is your second favorite Die Hard movie. My third favorite.
Number 3 is number 2. And it is a strong number 2. I did not think that through. But yeah, so first I want to hear why it's not number 2 for you.
Okay, well, technically, my notes for what I like about this movie are longer than my notes for my second favorite, which is Live Free or Die Hard. So I guess to put it simply, I saw Live Free or Die Hard. I watched these movies in order. I was telling you before the show, like a year ago. I hit them all. I had seen the first one a bunch of times, but I did the franchise, and Live Free or Die Hard for me is one that I get the urge to go back and rewatch more often than Die Hard with a Vengeance. Now you can see not by much. There's 2 and 3, so it's right there. But for me, at least in the since I've popped my Die Hard cherry,
Cool.
which was explosive,
Oh
like
my
all the
God.
movies, and over the top. Ever since then, I've gotten the urge to go back and watch Live Free more than Die Hard with a Vengeance. However, I do think Die Hard with a Vengeance has one of the best villains after Hans Gruber.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
Yeah,
my favorite other than Hans Gruber.
I mean, because they're spoiler alert.
It's his brother.
Oh my gosh.
It's Simon. Simon Says.
But yeah, I actually, I feel very strongly about this. I think Die Hard with a Vengeance is one of, not just like one of the best Die Hard movies, but one of the greatest action movies ever made.
You love it.
I think it works with or without John McClane, which originally it wasn't written as a Die Hard movie. I think it works as a Lethal Weapon movie. I think it works as a Crank movie. I think as a Speed sequel. I think it's just such a solid screenplay, and the direction and the way
John McTiernan again for this one.
Yeah, it's him coming back. That's why I think what makes Die Hard is the director, because this yet it feels like something different.
It's very new.
There are moments that you're like, this is a Die Hard movie. When he wakes up, or when the fact that he's hungover, you're just like, yeah, that is believable. That's where John McClane would be. And
this grubby New York cop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just the movie itself, the feeling that it gets, that it gives you, it starts out just right away. I think, knock down some in the city. And then just, like literally an explosion, just right away. You get rock and roll, some funky tunes, and then explosion, and then the movie doesn't lit up. In my opinion, I feel like this. I agree. Way, and I'm laughing the whole time. It's Samuel L. Jackson makes this movie. I actually think like it probably wouldn't work with Justin Long.
So my notes actually on Sammy L specifically are that I would watch a movie just about Zeus any day.
I was thinking that same thing.
I'm so into it. I love the chemistry that him and Bruce Willis had. I love like the initial. They feel like they should want to beat this. They feel like they want to beat the shit out of each other at all times, but out of necessity, they're like, we have no choice but to make this work. And that to me is more fun than you can ask for in a Die Hard movie, because the first one you don't have that same thing. You don't have that. The relationship, the fun dynamic is between Hans and John, but then in this one there's fun dynamics left and fucking right. Everybody's having a good time.
You have Officer Family Matters, there, but this is different. This is
Officer Family Matters.
It's a buddy cop movie, but it's also a little bit more. It's a little bit more than that. And it's also just a thriller at the same time. It just captures.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah. Like I'm not a New York guy. Like I don't really know New York, but to me it feels like the perfect like movie New York. Like I don't know if that's what New York is really like, but that's what I want it to feel like. And just the wide angles that they use, the way, like I said, the way it never lets up. At any moment, that something can blow up. Somebody could get shot at any moment, and I like that the villain kind of like agrees with us when Samuel L. Jackson appears. He's like, yeah, he needs to stay in this movie.
Yeah,
he needs to stay. I like him. Keep him. And it doesn't. This is the thing. Like it would still work if it wasn't a Die Hard movie.
Sure,
it would still totally work. But the changes that they made to the script, they make sense because think about it. If this was a real thing, John McClane would have made horrible enemies after this. Like
Yes.
not just the Grubers. He like I'm sure there are more twins. I'm sure there are more brothers, and that he upset so many dangerous family trees that
Yeah.
like even though sometimes it may feel ridiculous, like come on, his brother's getting revenge and playing with you. Like no, I think some of these guys would have brothers like this, especially Hans. And and yeah, they would play their games like a Zodiac, like a
Yes.
kind
Yeah.
of thing. Like these
A
people,
Riddler.
yeah. These people exist. There's people out there who see the world as their plaything, and like this would work as a Batman and Joker movie. Like
Oh
think about
hell, yeah, 100%.
Or
And I
Batman
agree
and
too.
Robin, and I don't know, like, but it just works on so many levels. It's not a Christmas movie. If it was a Christmas movie, that'd be a little
It
too.
would get gimmicky at that point. It would be a
Yeah,
gimmick.
yeah, just like, but actually, the best parts about the best part, and the reason why I rank Die Hard with a Vengeance so high, is that there's a few moments where they cut away. McTiernan cuts away from the McClane story, and there's a beautifully assembled action sequence where they're like, trying to defuse a bomb and getting the children out of the school. It feels like a Michael Mann movie, like, and that would have been interesting on its own.
Sure, I agree.
And then he's like, and you get some Die Hard. Like this is the greatest. It deserves the silver medal with maybe like maybe just some gold dust on it.
A little gilding on the edge there. Yeah. Well,
I,
yeah,
I
I mean,
love it. I actually have it right here. I was looking through. I got it for $2.99. It's on sale. They have special features on a separate disc. Children.
do you enjoy these special features? I
Oh
bet
my
there's
goodness. I often enjoy the commentary and the behind the scenes and the making of featurette.
I from the way you read it off the DVD, I don't know if that's true, but what I believe is that you do enjoy those things. And is it true? Actually, I have a question. Is it true? I don't know if my memory is serving me correctly, but you have 2 physical copies of a certain Die Hard movie. Is that true?
Oh my goodness. Yes, I keep them right here at all times next to me. For some reason, I have Die Hard twice on Blu-ray. I kind of like, maybe I forgot that I owned it, or this one's the 30th anniversary. So,
Oh.
but like they both, I think I was just stupid, and my love for Die Hard took over my smarts, and I just bought it twice.
Dude, there's no shame in that. I've bought alternate covers of comic books I enjoy. I've bought in different colors of playing cards that I enjoy.
Speaking of comic books, have you read or seen the comic book Die Hard Year One? Or is it
I've not. Is
Did
this
you know
canon?
Yes, it's on Wikipedia, Die Hardpedia too, but I haven't read it. I saw like images of it, and it's John McClane. He's a rookie cop. He has hair.
Oh, little different there.
Lots of
He had a
hair,
little
yeah.
hair in the first one.
And it kind of feels, just from the images that I've seen, it kind of feels like Death Wish, kind of like a gritty on the streets rookie cop.
It does, yeah. Death
Well,
Wish and kind of like Strange Days a little bit. This
yeah,
is actually pretty cool.
So and I think that at one time Hollywood was going to use that. Yeah, there we go. They were going to use that as a source material for a Die Hard prequel film, but of course, I think that all fell through, and I don't. They should not make that anymore. Even though, like, it would just be another Indiana Jones. But
Exactly. Which, well, actually, that's not the first time, or that's not the only time Indiana Jones is going to be brought up in comparison on this stream. I have other Indiana Jones Die Hard crossovers. Wait a minute.
What?
Sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but I do have a quick question.
Yes.
Is this multiple issues or is this one big graphic novel?
You're asking the wrong person.
The wrong hombre. Okay, I'm gonna
This
track
is
it down because if it's good, if it's like one graphic novel, I gotta read it.
it looks great. Yeah, but it should never be a movie. Especially now. Never. They've made enough. Stop it.
If it would, let me ask you this, dude. If it was a movie now, who would play a young John
Well,
McClane?
I mean, would you do the Looper thing again?
Just CGI Joseph Gordon-Levitt's face.
Yeah, or like, well, they gave him like makeup to make him look like a young Bruce Willis. Then it was like, they've done it before. If anything, it should be an animation.
Yeah, that would be cool. You know what'd be cool is if they did it in like the style of like the new Watchmen animated movie.
Okay,
It's
okay,
kind of
yeah,
like
yeah,
it's 2D, 3. It's almost like X-Men 97, like 2D, 3D, you know?
yeah.
That could be hot, dude.
Because they shouldn't try. It's over. Like there's no going back. There's no recreating that.
Let's hope they don't.
So, but you can do it in a different medium. Yeah, in animation, in comic book form. Even do a video game, you know. But we don't need a prequel reboot. But like I was wondering this when John McClane was going through, Die Hard 1, like he'd seen some shit before.
He was in the shit. Yeah.
But like this was the biggest shit that he'd been in, right?
Sure.
And so that's the kind of the problem is that or the beauty of it is that a Die Hard prequel would have to be smaller. A smaller scale. If he went on this big wild adventure,
True, it would undercut.
Multiple exploding buildings, then that would just take away from what made Die Hard 1 special, because like
you'd be like, he's been there, done that. He's Pitbull. He's been there, done that shit.
Exactly. But yes. So they make Die Hard 1, Die Hard 2, Die Harder. They make Die Hard with a Vengeance, all within a few years of each other. But then they go like over a decade.
Yep.
I'm not exactly sure on the year, maybe like a little bit over a decade. When we finally got another Die Hard.
Yep. And in my opinion, we got the best sequel to Die Hard that year.
Yes, that year was the best.
I mean, that was the year that we got Die Hard.
Yes. Sorry.
No. I'm gonna go first here, okay? Because here's my thing with this movie. This movie is what I would call, it's Die Hard if they were like, let's make it for the new generation. It's basically like a legacy sequel that was done the right way, that was done before the age of legacy sequels had to pack in so many,
it is ahead of its time in a way.
Yeah. And to that effect, it's done so well. I love what's his name? Matt Justin Long. I love that it's Die Hard, but he's getting a little older. He's a little evolved now. It's been so long. And this also felt to me like one of the most authentically John McClane things, because it's like, for me, if you were to watch Die Hard and then immediately after that watch Live Free or Die Hard, you would go, yeah, I could fill in the last 20 something years. Like this seems like it's almost like I don't know how to say it other than like it feels so natural that you're just checking in with him at this point, and there's this new completely like you have kind of like the digital era posing a new problem, and I don't know. I think it feels to me like if Die Hard was a standalone movie and then they just had to do a legacy sequel, it's the perfect scenario.
I'm going to respectfully disagree with you.
Ooh, here we go.
Okay, so before I go into how I feel about Live Free or Die Hard, which I think is fun. Like I think it's a good time at the movies. I think it's a like it could have been a lot worse, and it was later. So, and I think it has really nice moments. So yeah, I was the target audience, I guess, when this came out. I was consuming the 3 Die Hard movies over and over and throughout my childhood, and then suddenly I'm a young man and I'm working as a projectionist at a movie theater back when you actually had to.
Oh yeah, I remember the days.
And so I weaved Live Free or Die Hard through the gears, and so I actually had like a private screening with my friends. I had to do that sometimes to check to see if it was scratched. So
Had to do it. You had to just
had to watch
had to watch it
the
early.
new Die Hard movie before anybody, and so I
Fucking sucks.
I invited all of my friends, all three of them, and just like the people that were there were so excited just that this existed, that no matter, I'm like, this is great. Like, I love that this is happening. I do feel like it's the wrong story. I think John is right. Like, he's in the right state of mind. Bruce is doing the right acting. I just wish it wasn't so, because it's called Die Hard .4 or something, and some DVDs call it that. I think Bruce Willis wanted them to call it that, and because it's like, it just feels like people were the executives were sitting around a table and we're like, we need to make a modern Die Hard. What's modern? Computers. Yes, they're the bad guy. Even though they didn't use computers, but it's like, we're gonna use computers in a
It's
modern
not
day way.
like that. No, dude.
And we're gonna
That would
literally
be
get
like-
the Mac guy. Like
No, it's not like one of those movies that's like, just insert a hacker and we'll call it for the modern age. It's not Fast and the Furious 6 or whatever.
Sometimes it feels like that. Sometimes it feels like a let me fix everything.
He does get a little things maybe with the but with the technology a little bit. But
when they cut to the villains, it doesn't feel Die Hard to me.
But let's look at the villain.
I like the villains, but it feels like a completely different movie. And just the way it's shot and the way it's lit, it almost feels like a sci-fi movie. And so I'm looking at like the colors and like how the camera's moving.
It's
and
got like a J.J. Abrams.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah,
I was like, who does this feel like?
Abrams,
I was like, it's not
sure.
Tony Scott. It's not Michael Bay. It's J.J. Abrams in the worst way possible.
Yeah, I can see that.
A fucking Instagram filter over it where everyone looks like high contrast, and so the beauty of the first 3 Die Hards, even Die Harder, they look the same. They have the same feel, even though Rennie Harlin directed the second one.
Yeah. For those who don't know, Rennie Harlin also he directed Nightmare on Elm Street 4, I think,
and Cliffhanger and Cutthroat Island,
of course, yeah,
and other horrible things. Like Die Hard 2 is one of his best movies. Let's say that. But I forgot what I was saying. Die Hard's
what you were saying is they had a look. The trilogy,
yes.
the OG trilogy had a look. It had a vibe. The second one comes out. It looks like a Star Trek remake.
It doesn't feel. That's the problem. Like I like what I'm seeing. Like, cool. Yeah, John is shooting. He's saying funny things. I'm having a good time. But like the Die Hard purist in me is like saying like, this is this is something else, and I can't get over that. And maybe that's just a problem that I'm gonna have to deal with. But because let's think about it. Let's compare scenes. So one of the scenes I remember is bad guys are coming in with big guns and he's hiding behind a refrigerator or something.
Yeah,
okay. I can't even remember. I just fucking watched it. And I can't even remember it. But Die Hard 1 and some of 2 and 3, I fully remember, and because I remember how it made me feel. I remember the glass, and Die Hard, Live Free to Die Hard has no glass moment for me. I never feel.
I love this so much right now. This is. I
don't feel John McClane. I don't feel him. Where did he go? But there's hints of him, and so it keeps me there. So I don't want to say like it's a bad movie or it's a bad Die Hard movie. I just don't fucking like it. But I will say like it's a decent fun time at the movies.
I think other than the fact that I'm not crazy about how the final confrontation, which is fun. It's fun as hell, that kind of ending, but It does go a little Vin Diesel in the end, where he just turns into fucking Jason Bourne, and he's
Yeah.
riding on a helicopter, and he's
I actually
dropping
see
off the
somebody
highway.
here saying that to definitely watch the unrated version.
Oh yeah,
I
dude.
think
By the way,
I've only seen the PG-13 probably
oh
because
well,
he's just
no, I
like,
should have led with this.
"Yippee-ki-yay, mother!" And I'm
Yeah,
like,
no, brother, this is the problem. You got to watch. It's on streaming now, but it's yeah. Watch the director's cut. I think it's just called like the director's cut or the unrated
okay,
version,
okay,
and it's
that's my
you're not
problem.
gonna love it or
We
anything. It's not
figured it
gonna
out. We
change your
made a
mind.
major breakthrough today. We found out what was wrong with me. And
Yeah,
now
I really
I'm
think
watching.
honestly, fuck, man. I feel like we should follow up on this next time I have you on.
Okay, I'm gonna
We should
watch it.
follow up.
Director's cut.
I think,
Yeah.
and it probably won't change your ranking at all, but I do think you'll lighten up a little bit on what you don't like about it, because there's
Okay.
a lot more to be fan serviced by in the unrated version.
Yeah, and maybe actually like that's probably the first time that I realized what fan service was, or that I was feeling fan service, and I guess it just confused me. And I'm like,
That's fair, because it was kind of at a time when that wasn't like a bar for people to reach yet, where people were like, oh, it's gotta be fan service. You gotta check every fucking box, you know?
and then I see my major problem, and I don't think a director's cut can fix these problems. Maybe tell me if I'm wrong, but my major the other than how it looks and how it feels, um, just the fact that through the most part, John is John. And then at the end, I remember him turning into a superhero, literally jumping off of a jet.
He does do that, yeah.
So he starts from, so it goes from like Die Hard 1, where he's clenching his fists, and he's like, ah, and then
I have a few laughs.
and then Die Hard 4, he's flying a helicopter, and they mention,
And he's way older now, so
I got over it. But like the beauty of John McClane was that he was afraid. He was a
Yes.
human. He was afraid of flying, yet he had to jump off of buildings sometimes. But it was cool. I have to admit. When
I
he
think
jumped,
other than that, though, like if we were to take out where he gets a little bit too
but also
high,
I loved that part too. So like that's the contradiction of that. Like I love what is bad about it is what is good about it.
sure.
Like, I don't know if I
It
said that
sounds like
before.
kind of like a similar beef that you have with Die Hard 2 is maybe if it just wasn't a Die Hard movie. Like if Bruce
Absolutely.
Willis'
Oh, of course,
character was just named something else, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And it could have been one of his hit direct to DVD action movies.
Because I was thinking that with other things. Like, yeah, John McClane, he's the type of character that, just like this bobblehead here, I guess, like you can take him and you can just put him in a movie, in any action movie, and he's gonna work because it's John McClane. He's gonna be charming. He's gonna be funny. It's gonna be awesome. Like no matter what, put him in fucking Space Jam. Oh yeah,
Dude, you
um,
got some multiverse shit happening. This Joe Blow bobblehead thought it was the only one.
oh no, this is the true. I even have in another room. My house actually looks like the Nakatomi Plaza right now, the upper stories, because there's lots of construction and stuff. That's why I just have this stupid yellow wall.
I thought it was a creative choice, and I thought it was a nice one.
That's what I mean.
You expressly told me I'm going to be doing a yellow thing today.
Yes, yellow, like the filter on Live Free or Die Hard. But seriously, yeah. What's good is what was bad about it, because I remember sitting in the theater with all of my friends eating popcorn and like a total like wonderful movie experience, and seeing John McClane jump off the plane and he like flies towards the camera, and you're just and like yeah, we like cheered. We're like, John, but does that mean it's a good movie? Is that good cinema? Does that matter? Is there a difference?
There is a difference for sure, and no, that doesn't make it good cinema. But I think Live Free or Die Hard is good cinema, and I loves it. And I think you'll loves it too. Just watch the unrated version. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes. Oh, someone's saying, yeah, there's a moment like True Lies did that sequence better, hanging off a jet.
The Jamie Lee Curtis joint.
Yeah, the
What a
Major
good scene.
Blazer. Who's
Yeah, but
been
okay, but also that's
saying
lightning
it.
in a bottle. That scene, it's like nobody will ever do a hanging out of a jet scene that good. You know,
Yeah,
like it
and
doesn't mean people shouldn't still do good ones.
it wouldn't work. And yeah, you shouldn't. I don't think. Yeah, you should. It'd still be fun, but you shouldn't put John McClane in Die Hard. I was thinking, could you put John in Speed? With
Yeah.
Speed, like I think that would have been a decent. I love Keanu. Don't get me wrong. Like we got
Who
a
doesn't?
Keanu video coming up, y'all. But like, shout out, yo. But I feel like Speed could have been, and Speed was. I'm just now realizing this. Epiphanies all over the place. Speed was directed by the guy who shot Die Hard, the freaking cameraman, the director of photography.
The DP, okay. I did not know that.
Jean Dubon. Am I saying that right? Am I saying the right guy?
Yeah, I mean, do I look like the person to ask?
Foreign man name. Sorry.
Foreign man name.
Yes. He's actually he's a wonderful director, and yeah, so he went on to do Speed. He was doing a lot of Speed.
A lot of Speed.
And
LA, you know how it is.
But yeah, think about Keanu's character. He's a cop. Like he's who's seen some shit, who's gone through some stuff.
Yeah.
It's believable that he could handle his own. Jean de Bon. I said it right. Right?
Yep. Jean de Bon. Yeah.
Thank you. Jean de Bon.
Jean de Bon.
Sorry, that's so disrespectful. So Speed, back to yes, John would fit on that bus perfectly. It would have been a different movie. Would it have been better or worse? I don't know. We'll never know.
It would have been good though, and it definitely would have worked, because it would have been, the difference would have been, I think, the amount of charisma. There's just different charisma. Keanu Reeves had his own kind of thing going on, but he didn't have the warm macho charm of John McClane, which would have, I think, inherently just kind of changed the way that movie would have felt.
Yes, and that's the thing. It totally would have felt different, but there's no way to know if it would have made it silly or would have worked. But the story is similar to Die Hard with a Vengeance. It is
similar.
He's toying with a cop. You know, it's the same story. Like it could have just been Die Hard with a Vengeance 2 or 1.
Die Hard with Speed. That's
Die Hard with Speed. That's the thing. I don't like the titles, the sequel titles. Die Hard with a Vengeance is fine.
My least favorite one is to be honest, I think my least favorite one is Live Free or Die Hard, just because like that's so much to say. It's just it's a lot going on.
That's the state slogan for New Hampshire, Live Free or Die. Like it's like a political.
I was not aware of that. And the movie takes place in DC, so what the fuck?
So that's when I first heard that. I was just like, Die Hard in New Hampshire. Does it take place? Like
that would have been a different movie, also.
And because you'll see that on license plates, Live Free or Die. Like it's a political chant. It's a state slogan, and so that I could never take it seriously, even though it makes sense thematically because it's about like people like taking over, right? Like hackers, and there's Washington D.C. and I don't know. I hate the title. I don't know. Die Hard 0.4 works better, actually.
Sure.
Good Day to Die Hard is just like, it sounds silly. Like
A Good Day to Die Hard.
Yeah, like imagine an SNL skit where they're just like pretending, or at the end of 22 Jump Street, they do like a list.
Yeah, all the the movie sequels.
That's what Live Free to Die Hard and especially Good Day to Die Hard's titles feel like.
100%.
Like, it's finally time to die hard. This time he's going to die hard. It's not a good day to die hard. Yesterday was a good day to...
Actually, A Good Day to Die Hard, almost, to me, you're right. It definitely, I would say, sounds like one of those parody sequels from 23 and 29 and 35 Jump Street. But it also sounds like a James Bond movie to me. Like 007, A Good Day to Die Hard.
and well, the... So Die Hard is kind of based off a book, but it's also not at all.
Yeah, it's the detective, right?
Yeah, well, it's based on that's the same character in a book called The Detective, but the story from Die Hard 1 is called like Nothing Lasts Forever, which sounds like a Bond movie.
It does.
Nothing Lasts Forever. And so The Detective is the same character, and that was made into a movie with Frank Sinatra. And
Right.
like a sequel to that book is Nothing Lasts Forever, which inspired Die Hard. And they actually like legally had to offer Die Hard to Frank Sinatra because he's played, even though the character's name isn't John McClane. They changed the name, but technically, legally, like but through a contract, he is this character. And he was like 70 at the time.
Yeah, I was gonna say Sinatra would have been almost 75 years old at that time.
And he's Frank Sinatra. It's like,
come on, Toots, yippee ki yay, yippee ki yay.
And the movie The Detective is fine. I've seen it. I don't really remember much of it, but it's like a noir mystery, and you can see like, yeah, John has been on this adventure before. It's nothing like over the top or anything. But then, yeah, they basically just like, please turn it down, Sinatra. Please.
Could you imagine if he didn't turn it down? What the fuck would that have? They would have been like, we're not really making it.
It would be like the last thing he ever did. No, he lived for like another 10 years or so. But like, he turned down everything. So there's no way he would have ever done it. But yeah, if that was the one thing that like for some reason that like hit him, would they have gone through with it? And
no, dude. Can you imagine? It would have been Dial of Destiny, because you would have had a geriatric
Gran Torino. Like
he would have
old man
doing fucking cigarettes the whole time, which maybe would have been on brand, but he wouldn't have been in a hurry. He would have been a musical, crooning, snapping. Exactly. I'm gonna get you, Hans. I love Frank Sinatra also, but he's not that good of an actor.
Hey, somebody just said Die Hard is a musical. I did. Oh, perfect. Didn't Bob's Burger? Did Bob's Burgers do Die Hard as a musical?
I don't know if they did, but that would be amazing. I think that honestly, they have to have done that on Broadway.
It should have been like Gruber, like they Wicked it.
That would have been sick. Yeah, like the Hans. Speaking of Lamb Knot, sick name Lamb Knot says that the last movie should have just been called McClane.
I think it was at one time when they were like actually going to make it. And so like that's what I was thinking. If you had to make McClane, if like if Hollywood was like, here, you have to do this, or it should be like, in a perfect world, if you're gonna do it, it should be like Godfather Part 2, where you cut back and forth between young John McClane and you got an older, well, I mean, Brando was dead in that, but you're cutting back and forth, to different stories, different timelines, and they kind of play off of each other. But that movie still shouldn't exist. No, none of these outside of the three, and I'll give you 4. Shouldn't exist. Good day.
At least give me that 4 should exist as like a nice treat, a nice nostalgic treat. The 3, maybe the main trilogy is like the best shit ever. But to me, the best trilogy would be 1, 3, 4. Would be like if you put that like as a trilogy, that would have been,
Yeah.
Because it would have. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's actually get onto the last film.
Yeah. Why doesn't A Good Day to Die Hard work? Why is it horrible? Even though it should be good. I want like it. There's cool action. Things explode. Guns go off. He's in Russia. Wowzers. And Jai Courtney, everybody's favorite actor, is there. Why?
Another long lost McClane child. Also, how fun. They straight up, dude. Here's the. I'm gonna just for a second. I'm gonna rant because this is the one I've most freshly watched. Okay. And I don't like this movie. This movie it's so funny. It's derivative of the other Die Hard movies, which is fine. That's a sequel for you. But then it also just like flat out steals stuff from other Die Hard movies. And like for example, he's got this long lost son that I hate when movies fucking try to do that, where 4 movies in, there's a new long lost relative that brings the plot back, and then you're like, okay, no mention of this at all.
He had like they show his little they show his kids in Die Hard 1, and that, like, do they show little Jai Courtney on the, like, I know they show his daughter and like, please come home or
Yeah,
something.
I don't think there's anything like that with Jack.
Okay, yeah,
I don't
and it's
think.
just like it just feels like the wrong type of movie. Like I was saying, John McClane is just a person, just a character you insert
They
into
plopped him
action
into a
movies.
fucking like Expendables spinoff. Is
And
what they did with
I
this movie.
thought that inserting him into a computer hacker political
It was good.
espionage thing
It was good.
for I didn't learn this was even worse. This was sending him on a like this movie. It feels so little like a Die Hard movie.
Yeah.
Everything is blowing up. It's just outrageous.
It's
Die
also
Hard is
fucking
pure. Die Hard
dumb.
is small. Die Hard is contained. This is all over Mother Russia, and like
It's a stupid, yeah.
slow motion jump. It
Oh,
becomes
tons
Matrix.
of like, yeah, attempted like eye candy, like as if you're gonna screenshot it and make it your fucking wallpaper, like it's
Yeah.
a Zack Snyder movie. The problem is, it's also like it just doesn't. It's definitely not a Die Hard movie. This is one of those ones that I'm surprised that this wasn't like written as like one of those like Olympus movies or like some generic bargain bin movie, like
That's what it feels like.
totally 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what it feels like. And just there is absolutely no chemistry. I don't know if Jai Courtney has ever had chemistry
With another human being
with
ever.
another human being. But especially, and I know, like, especially at that time, like, it was hard to work with Bruce and his chemistry, and you could just feel like he didn't care.
Yeah.
Like, you could
Yeah.
just feel it, and this
Bruce
was like,
Willis's character was just Bruce Willis, I think. He just got, as soon as he got to Russia, he became completely fucking ejected, where he's just like, oh, we gotta go. All right, fuck this. I'm too old for it. He was getting Danny Glover, you know?
I don't really remember the context of this one scene, but there's this one scene stayed in my mind where this guy's just speaking Russian to him, and he just like punches him.
Punches him in the face.
And he's just like, I don't speak Russian. I don't understand what you're saying.
You're in Russia.
And so you just
That should be punching you.
There's a lot of people there.
Holy shit. Yeah, dude, that scene is ridiculous. I think he's trying to steal the guy's car, or he does steal the guy's car after he knocks him out, maybe.
And it just doesn't. I'm gonna go back to like the camera work. It just feels so digital.
Yeah, it's very
like the
generic,
fires. You could
even.
tell the fire's not real. You could feel the like. I don't know. It just felt like everything was so fake. Not just the performances and not just the energy, but just the set surrounding it.
Yes, it all felt.
Action.
It just felt low budget. Something about it felt very cheap to me, but it also felt like the integrity of certain things were just like, I feel like it was ignored. Almost like they just did a shitload of Bruce Willis reshoots after they filmed a Jai Courtney movie and realized it wasn't any good. And they're like, maybe we can make him the son of somebody who is good, you know?
Right. Like, and I don't think this movie would have been, it just wouldn't have been good. Yeah. Bargain bin.
Weak ass action movie.
Exactly. And it just felt like, beyond superhero, the guns that I just remember, like giant guns.
Yeah.
And just like the beauty of Die Hard, that he was just like,
yeah.
Think about just the scene where he's in the vents and they're pushing up and he's like,
oh, it's so good.
That is better.
It's so good.
Him and Jai Courtney running down the hallway shooting.
Because that's not what Die Hard is, or that's not what people want from it anyway.
Exactly. You know? It's like, did they even see? Has Bruce Willis seen Die Hard? Like, but the real question is, does this ruin Die Hard? Is Die Hard 1 and so good that do people think about Die Hard, Good Day to Die Hard? Do people even remember it?
No, that's the thing, dude. If you were to ask me prior to last year how many Die Hard movies there were, I'd be like, I have no fucking idea. I know that there's some really good ones, and I know that there were some other ones that were made that I never heard of. But I think honestly, like if you were to ask even the average, American dad, someone like yourself, Taylor, if you were to be like, you fuck with Die Hard, you'd be like, yeah, of course. And knowing that the latest movie is a giant piece of shit isn't going to change that, right? So I think it's forgivable, and also the fact that they did not try to make more after that failure, I think just shows that there was some respect for trying to preserve the legacy of Die Hard.
Exactly, and it says a lot. You know what? These bad movies. I'm gonna try to be as positive as possible. These bad movies are actually all the bad diehards. Whatever, if we agree or disagree on what a bad diehard is,
The one bad Die Hard.
yeah, all of these bad diehards just make Die Hard 1 better. Like
Yeah.
it just makes you appreciate it even more.
That's
And
true.
so I'm gonna say thank you Hollywood for shitting out the bad ones or one, whatever you feel, because it just made me realize you can't. This is a one of a kind, one and a half kind with a vengeance. This is a true special film, a special moment in cinema history, as that we should not touch. We should just live in its legacy. We should just live in the inspiration, because I'm so glad that Die Hard is a genre. That's my favorite genre. I don't care that it's a knockoff, a ripoff. It's just that story is so pure. It just works so well.
It's one of the few movies where nobody cares when it gets ripped off, because it can be ripped off so well. It's just such a good concept of one guy on a train, one way out, and you're like, fuck it, I'm there.
The everyman action hero. It's perfect. It's a perfect movie. There's only 5 perfect movies, and this is one of them.
I would agree. Yeah, there's not many movies that I would say max out their potential, but this movie absolutely does. It's one that it's just, to me, it's kind of one of those ones. I've said this about other movies on the show, but it's one of those ones where if you're in a room with 11 people in your family and everybody wants to watch a movie, but nobody can agree, you could probably put on Die Hard and nobody's going to be like, fuck, not this one. Everybody's going to be like, okay, at the very least, you'll get that,
Exactly.
And then you'll get people like me that are like, yep, it's always a good time to Die Hard.
Have you ever gotten tired of seeing Die Hard?
Never. I've seen it probably, I haven't seen it maybe as many times as somebody who grew up on it, but I've seen it probably 10 times, maybe 15 times in my life. And every time I see it, I'm just like, yeah, that's a good movie.
Yeah. It just gets better.
Honestly. I should also say you mentioned that's good. I'm a chronic rewatcher of films. I'm one of those people, I'll watch Almost Famous 5 times in 1 year. Or it's sometimes I get that way. So, but yeah, Die Hard is one of those ones that I don't know. I do watch it around Christmas. My take on it being a Christmas movie is it's a Christmas movie if when you're watching it at Christmas, it kind of tickles that
you
vibe.
don't have to watch it at Christmas.
There's Christmas trees. It's Christmassy.
There's enough. Ho ho ho! I have a machine gun. There's enough.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker! Well, hey, speaking of this movie's legacy, Taylor, I want to be respectful of your time, but also our audience, because some people like to get out to the movies on Friday nights, like myself.
Oh yeah. What's out?
Well, I want to go see Venom 3 and just I see what all the.
I've heard great things.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be amazing. I actually like the first 2, so we'll see. I agree with the Buck Native that we need more hero smoking ciggies, dude. I agree. I also just like the word ciggy to describe a cigarette. That's perfect. But let's do this, dude. In honor of the film's legacy, and sorry guys about if your comments were groundbreaking stuff and we didn't get to them. Me and Taylor were just rapping, but join in next week and we'll talk about even more shite. But let's do a giveaway, because we like to, weekly, we like to give a little something to the audience. And tonight I feel like there was maybe a little bit, I wasn't as in on the chat as I usually am. Usually when I have a guest, it's a little hard to balance all that stuff, but
you're only one person. You're only one, just like John McClane.
Exactly. I'm basically John McClane.
You are.
And I've always said that. Everyone says that. But to give back to y'all for being so patient and for commenting, we're gonna do a giveaway, but we're not just gonna do a little figure. We're not just gonna do a Blu-ray. We're gonna do the full Die Hard franchise. We're gonna be giving away all of the movies, all 5 movies, good, bad, and ugly, on Blu-ray, in a collection set. Okay, and you can
how do they win?
Look at this. This is what you need, Taylor.
Whoa. I only have some of those.
Yeah, man. Look, I even put a little flame
Oh,
because I hate that
wow.
last movie so much. So all you guys have to do if you want to win this sexy little box set of Die Hard movies, all you got to do is be the first to answer this question. Which iconic movie prop from Die Hard was donated by Bruce Willis in 2007 to the Smithsonian Museum? And Elena Salaz, hello, welcome. Thank you for being here. All right, first one to answer this. The first one that comes through on our end will be the winner. Taylor, I think you might know. It looks like you're doing a dance like you might know.
I mean, I have a good guess, but I'm looking at. I haven't seen anybody say it yet. I don't know.
All right, let's see. Let's see, guys. What did Brad Pitt, or not Brad Pitt, what did Bruce Willis donate to the Smithsonian from his film? I almost gave away the answer to. I don't know why. For some reason, when I said what did he give away, I almost started with the thing that he gave away.
His hair.
His hair, his toupee. Oh, all right. Cartoon Man. Cartoon Man hit it first from the looks of it, at least on our end, on the back end here. Taylor, maybe you can verify. Do you see anybody before Cartoon Man that answered this? We'll take shirt or tank top, I guess. Yeah, wife beater, major blazer, same thing basically.
Yeah, I don't see anyone above Cartoon Man.
All right, Cartoon Man, my dude, our guy, friend of the show.
I like cartoons too, and I'm also a man. We have so much in common.
Seriously, you guys are basically the same dude. You and Cartoon Man.
Regular people like John McClane. And
yes, exactly. We're all John Mc. We are Venom and John McClane.
That's imagine John McClane in a Venom movie. No, don't.
I don't want to imagine him. I don't want to imagine him anywhere near Sony's Spider-Man universe. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. Cartoon Man. I'm gonna have you email friend of the show and producer of the show, John Fallon. That's arrow@joeblow.com. Send this email address and email to claim your reward. I say this every single week, you guys, but it is important. Try to do it this weekend if you can, because what we like to do is send the stuff out that you win early as soon as possible, so that way hopefully you'll get it before the next live stream. That's kind of the move. So
and we have the shirt right here.
Look, we have a surprise. We actually got the John McClane.
Yeah, we did it from the Smithsonian. I broke in Nicolas Cage style and I stole it, and now it's just with my dirty laundry.
Now, could Bruce Willis have been a national treasure? Speak on that. Actually, rap about it if you can.
Rap about it like hip hop?
Yeah, in rhyme if you can.
Could Bruce Willis be a national treasure? I think he could, no matter the weather, as long as he wore a better sweater. Before I forget her, I'm gonna add his daughter, because she'll add to the slaughter and make the movie as successful as the administration of Carter.
Taylor, that was incredibly. I did not expect you to do that and to do it well. That was amazing. Thank you for doing.
Neither did I.
That was so fucking. Did you black out?
Where am I?
Russia, and I'm Jai Courtney, and this time it's personal. All right, man. Well, Cartoon Man, claim your prize. Hit us up, Taylor. Dude, thank you for being on the show. Finally, we've had so many people request to see your face.
Oh man, I'm so sorry, everybody.
You disappointed nobody.
Okay.
Nobody was disappointed.
Oh, somebody said we see your face, man. Well,
isn't it weird the first time you see his face? You're like, oh, this is kind of exactly what I expected him to look like, and nothing what I expected him to look like. At least that's how I felt when I first seen you. I don't know.
What were you expecting?
Well, so when I heard your voice, I kind of just pictured Mr. Movie Phone, which I pictured like a floating sentient head that like lived in the Joe Blow headquarters and just like, never made a mistake. I don't know. It just, your voice kind of gives off. I don't know.
I thought you were just gonna be like, I thought you'd be taller or something, but that's better. Wow.
I pictured you looking like the fucking Power Rangers thing, like just the head that like helps them out.
Zordon,
it's something like that, yeah.
Power Rangers, they're telling me to stay woke.
Which, by the way, Taylor, make sure, I guess on a final note, make sure you stay woke out there, man.
I'm always woke. I'm so woke right now. I just drank a coffee.
You look awoke to me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, dude. Well, thanks again for being on the show. Audience, we loves you. If you guys want Taylor back, make sure you like the video, fucking comment, tell him how handsome he is, tell me how handsome I am. And also, guys, don't forget to pick up your Joe Blow merch. This is kind of the last thing I like to do for the end of the show. Grab yourself a t-shirt, grab one for Taylor, grab one for me.
I'm wearing one.
Hey, I almost wore that one today. I almost wore it. I'm glad I didn't. How embarrassing that would have been. And don't forget to read joeblow.com for the latest, hottest movie news. We love you all, and we will see you when we see you again. I'll see you guys next Friday for sure. All right, guys. Have a happy weekend. Make sure you like, subscribe. Taylor, thanks again, man.
Thanks. It was nice meeting you.
You as well. Bye-bye.
Coworker,
man. Peace.
live